When someone acts like their grief is worse than yours, when someone minimizes your grief because they believe theirs is worse, remember, grief is not a competition. You don't have to prove that you're less hurt, and you don't need someone else's approval to honor what you loved, what you lost, or what changed in you. Psalm 56:8 says, "You have kept count of my tossings. Put my tears in your bottle." What Psalm 8 is actually saying is it's David's confession that God sees, remembers, and values every sorrow he's endured. The verse assures believers that grief is never invisible to God and that tears are not wasted or disregarded in his presence. I've been on a healing journey. I have a father wound. I was abused as a child from the time I was 5 years old, and it went into the physical and sexual abuse when I was 13. And God sent me on a healing journey. Back in 2019, I lost my sister. My sister was 51 years old and she died of diabetes. My sister is a big part of my story because she also endured great abuse by my mother. And part of my grief with her when she passed away is that no one was really there for her in that vulnerable time when she was dying. When she was dying, my parents weren't there, and my two other sisters weren't there. So seeing my sister in such a vulnerable state, seeing her at her last moments without everybody else being around, made it difficult for me. I suffered trauma and I suffer with PTSD from my child abuse. So when my sister was going through her illness and when it finally came to her passing, for me, having the flashbacks of her being in her hospital bed, laying there so still, so quiet after she passed, was very hard for me. It was very hard for me to deal with that. And I needed the support of my parents, and I needed the support of my two other sisters. And unfortunately, they were not supportive. They pretty much just tossed it up that my sister didn't take very good care of herself. The one that passed away I'm talking about, that she didn't take good care of herself, so, it is what it is kind of thing. But for me, it was just so very crushing. It was so very crushing to see my sister dwindle away and pass away in that way. And the biggest part that crushed me the most was to see that my parents, her parents, weren't there with her at that time. So my sister passed in 2019, and then my mom passed away 4 months after that, and then my dad passed away 6 months after my mom. So within a year's span, I was really struggling. I was going through a really, really tough time. And I was talking to someone who had just lost their spouse. They lost their spouse. They were also grieving. And I was sharing with them my grieving as well. We were just both kind of talking about it, and I was saying how hard of a time I was having with my sister's death and just losing my parents. I was single. I was by myself at this point in time in my life, so I really didn't have anybody to lean on per se. But this person said to me, I would think it's worse to lose a spouse than to lose your sister and your parents. And I thought, wow, how horrible to say that to somebody who's grieving. And mind you, my conversation with this person wasn't to compete with their loss. I was just there for them as well as to hear what they were going through and was hoping I was going to get the same ear from them, and I didn't. It became a competition of who was hurting more than the other. And that's just not what God intends. I'm so grateful that God was with me during this time of my life, that I needed someone, that I needed a friend, that I needed an ear. See, when God puts you on a healing journey, He never leaves you. He never forsakes you. What He wants to do is to deal with your healing and pull it up by the roots. He wants you to come to Him. He wants you to bring your healing, your pain to Him. And He wants you to allow Him to come into your life every single day and direct your steps. Direct your steps. And bring to you the right ears that you need during this healing process. See, I didn't have the right set of ears that I needed talking about the grief that I was going through. When God put me on my healing journey, He had me write a book. He had me write a book. So I was able to speak my truth. I was able to get it out page after page. And God was with me during that time. So I want to say to you that God did this for me. God put me on this healing journey. I didn't even know I needed this journey, but He put me on it because He has a purpose for me, and He's going to have a purpose for you too. He's got a purpose for you. If you're still watching this video, and I understand this video may not be for everybody, but if you're still watching it, it's probably for you. And He's probably got you on a healing journey right now because He has a purpose for you in your life. Maybe you stepped away. Maybe you walked away from His guidance. But He'll bring you back. Just invite Him back. Invite Him back in if you've already stepped away and just went on your own and wanted to do your own healing. Invite the Lord back in and ask Him. Ask Him what you need to do to get the journey started, and ask Him for the safest next steps. So let's go over this again. Grief, it's not a ranking system. It's not whose loss or whose hurt is worse than the other. The person that you're speaking to, if they've lost somebody, their pain is real, and your pain is real. It's not a competition. God sees your pain and knows the part of the story that others may not understand. And what I mean by that is, when you're talking to somebody about your pain, they may not truly, fully grasp what your pain is, what you went through, what you saw, how traumatic it may have been for you to watch somebody pass away. And so just keep that in mind. Keep in mind that not everybody understands your ordeal or what you've been going through, but I'll tell you who does know. Our Heavenly Father knows. He knows those broken places. He sees those parts of you that nobody else does. So that's why I'm telling you, lift it to Him. He will get you started. He will guide you. Ask Him for discernment and pray for the right set of ears to come at you so that you can talk about your pain, talk about your grief too. Speak your truth too. Let God in. Let Him in on this journey with you. And He will help you every step of the way, but you've got to be willing to do this every single day. You got to be willing to invite Him in. And we also have to forgive. We have to forgive. Forgiveness is for you, so that you don't hold this other person hostage for what they did wrong. Move on from it. Let God deal with the abuser or the person who hurt you or harmed you. Let Him deal with that. But you lift your hurt and pain with God, and He'll help you and guide you every step of the way. I can assure you, because He's done it for me. He's turned my life around. He's changed my life so much. And His purpose for me was to talk to you. So if you're still here, my hope and prayer is that You start your healing journey today. You begin this today. Lift it to God. And remember to ask Him for the next best steps for your life. And He'll guide you. May God bless you.